Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Kristy Taylor, and I'm back as part of our continued commitment to Podcast Blitz, showcasing Black professionals and Black excellence entrepreneurs throughout the month of February. And today I am here with my final guest of today. And my next last guest for the Podcast Blitz, we have over the past month have hosted about 5 or 6 different African Americans who are working in our communities, who are professionals in high levels of representation of Black excellence. So here I have with me today is Mrs. Rochelle Levy Christopher. She is a community leader and she is the founder of For Black Girls. Now she is an advocate. She focuses on leadership development. She builds networks, focuses on building mentoring programs. And I'm going to hand this off to you, Rochelle, so that you can tell us about yourself, the work that you do. And this is a career-driven podcast. I keep on giving that disclaimer because for people who are tuning in, it's like, well, why is Dr. Taylor talking about all of this stuff that's related to community and social impact? Well, this is a career podcast, as I'm a career coach, right? But I also really believe when God gives you an opportunity to build a platform for yourself, you need to use that to make a difference. So you heard me say before, we are focusing on social impact and highlighting the excellence in our community. So you can start us off with that general question when we're telling us about yourself. What gives you that passion and drive to do what you do and the type of work that you do? But thank you, Rochelle, for coming on today. And let's hear a little bit more about you and learn about your organization.
No problem. As you said, I'm the founder of For Black Girls, and the organization is geared towards Black girls and women ages 14 up. I think our oldest member is somewhere around 75. I don't want to put her out there, but we focus on creating safe spaces, personal growth, professional development, and just really creating an environment of community and mental health, mental wellness. Because as Black women, we don't have a lot of spaces where we can show up as our authentic selves and really get the feedback or get things poured into us that we say we need. There are a lot of organizations out there that think they know what Black women need, right? So they're not community informed. So that's what makes us different. We're community informed, we're member informed, because it is a membership organization. And we like to hear from the community, hear from our members and say, what is it that you're struggling with right now? What is it that you need right now? How can we help you? Instead of just saying, I think this is what they need, and let me just put this out there, and it doesn't really make an impact. And the story about how we were founded is kind of sad for a Sunday afternoon, but I'm gonna hit you with it. Don't worry, I'm okay. I'll premise it with I'm okay, don't worry. I lost my daughter to congenital heart disease. She's a newborn. And as her legacy, I wanted to create a space that felt like home for Black women. Because when I was going through that, obviously it was the hardest time of my life. I didn't know how I was going to make it through. Even in the birthing suite, I had about 12 people in there. The doctors had never seen anything like it, but they weren't going anywhere. They were not kicking them out. They weren't going anywhere. And I just felt an overwhelming sense of comfort in the midst of the hardest things I've gone through in my life. And I said, this needs to be a thing. When people are going through, when Black women specifically are going through, we need spaces where we can find that sense of comfort no matter how bad we feel. That sense of, I'm just going to pour into my sister, and that's what prompted me to create For Black Girls. And here we are.
So how old is your organization? And I know that was a tough story to share, but it's an example of turning your pain into triumph because you're going to use it as an opportunity to help so many other women. I really am going to, I really do believe in divine presence and we cross paths and we connect with people because God places people in our path. And just listening to your story, I will say, you guys know that I'm throwing this Black Health Summit and I'm going to plug it wherever I can. But I talk about some of the inspiration for that was when I was sitting my own struggle with with fertility, right? And then, it's not something that's, when we look at Black women and our successes, people look at us and they think, hey, we're so strong, or that person, oh, she's an alpha female, or she's so into her career, but you really don't know what's behind the mindset of that person or what might be driving that person. I know for me, I'll give this example, right? When you talk about mental health, in my early 30s, late 20s, early 30s, I was career driven, but there was a little bit more balance there in terms of, I wanted to have a family, and I still do, right? Even though I'm 40 now, it's like I wanted to have a family. And I remember at that point in time, I was willing to kind of give up some things and really focus on that piece. But then I end up having a miscarriage, right? And I've been struggling with issues of fertility over the years. So I have put all of my energy and my work into building a career. And people see that it's like, oh, well, she's so career, but you don't know what's behind it or the pain that's behind that. And so to your point, when you talk about having safe spaces for Black women to be able to connect, I'm so glad that even though that happened to you, in that room, you had 12 people supporting you, right? So what is the importance of that support network? You know what I mean? And we titled this podcast today talking about self-love as a foundation and the key to personal growth. How important is that network? And in what has been your experience with building self-love, and how do you connect it to this organization that you were inspired to establish?